Welcome to Kanerika's podcast, The Digital Shift.
Glad to be here.
If you're listening to this right now, you are likely a professional who is deeply invested in the practical realities of enterprise AI.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean, let's be honest, you might also be feeling a very specific, a very frustrating kind of friction lately.
Yeah, that friction is everywhere right now.
Right. It's that friction that comes from stalled AI initiatives, where you're looking at this genuinely amazing technology, but somehow it just isn't translating into actual business value on the ground.
It's a huge pain point.
You are definitely not alone in that frustration. So, today our mission for this deep dive is to unpack a massive structural shift in enterprise AI.
A really necessary shift, too.
Exactly. We're going to examine the $150 million launch of the OpenAI Partner Network from June 2026.
Which was a massive deal.
It really was. We'll explore exactly why the bottleneck has moved away from AI capability and squarely into enterprise implementation.
Right, the real-world application of it all.
Yeah. And most importantly, we're going to break down how you can evaluate a true implementation partner so you can finally get those AI initiatives out of, pilot purgatory and into actual production.
It is such a critical mission, really, because the landscape we're operating in has fundamentally changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last 3 years, enterprises have been running just countless AI pilots.
Oh, everyone has a pilot right now.
Exactly. And across virtually all of those pilots, a very stark truth has emerged. And that is the AI model itself rarely fails first.
Wait, really? The model isn't the problem?
Not usually, no. The core intelligence of the system, its ability to reason or generate text, that is almost never the actual issue.
Right. I guess the model's usually doing exactly what it was trained to do. Right?
Exactly. It does its job.
So when we see these projects just, stall out,
Yeah.
the failure points are almost entirely located in the architecture surrounding the model.
Yeah, precisely. What fails is the plumbing.
The plumbing, I like that.
It's the immense friction of connecting a highly sophisticated model to proprietary, often incredibly messy internal data sources.
Right, because corporate data is never clean.
Never. And it's also the complexity of building rigorous access controls. I mean, you have to ensure the model doesn't accidentally leak sensitive internal information to the wrong department.
Oh, yeah. That's a nightmare scenario.
Right. And perhaps most significantly, it's the monumental task of convincing human teams to fundamentally change their daily workflows.
Yeah, to actually accommodate and, trust the AI-generated outputs.
Exactly. Trust is a huge hurdle.
Let's unpack this with a comparison, actually, because I think it perfectly highlights the absurdity of how some organizations are approaching this right now.
Sure, let's hear it.
So imagine the automotive industry. Imagine having a bleeding-edge, multi-million-dollar Formula One engine.
Okay, top of the line.
Right, this engine is a total marvel of engineering, representing billions in research. But it is completely useless if you try to just, drop it into a standard enterprise commuter car without upgrading the transmission.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to put it. And in this scenario, that transmission, that's your data pipeline.
Yeah, exactly.
If the transmission can't handle the horsepower, the car doesn't move forward. It just rips itself apart.
Precisely. And the analogy goes further, too, because it's equally useless if you don't teach the driver how to steer at 200 miles per hour.
Ah, the human element.
Yeah, that represents your organizational change management. You can't just bolt a supercomputer onto a legacy workflow and expect your team to instantly win the race.
Yeah, they crash immediately.
Right. They need new skills, new processes, and just a completely different mindset.
That is a really great way to visualize it. And, this realization isn't just coming from frustrated enterprise buyers who are tired of failing pilots. It is coming directly from the top of the AI food chain. OpenAI itself has formally diagnosed that implementation, not model capability, is the new bottleneck.
Which is a huge admission for them, honestly.
It is. It represents a profound shift in how they view competitive advantage. Their defensive moat is no longer just sitting on a leaderboard of model benchmarks.
Right, having the highest score on a test.
Exactly. Their moat is now in the channel. It's about how effectively and how securely they can embed their technology deep into corporate infrastructure.
And the scale of their response to this bottleneck is, well, I find it staggering.
It's massive.
We are not just talking about a few press releases or, strategic handshakes here. The OpenAI Partner Network aims to have 300,000 certified consultants globally by the end of 2026.
300,000. It's wild.
And on top of that, we saw the launch of DeployCo, That's a $4 billion standalone unit that is seated entirely with forward-deployed engineers.
4 billion. Just think about that number.
$4 billion just to solve integration. That is a massive admission that the current way enterprises are adopting AI is fundamentally broken.
They absolutely had to throw that kind of capital at the problem, though, because integration has become the defining challenge of the decade.
For sure.
Because implementation is the new competitive moat, OpenAI realized they had to build a highly structured vetting system to categorize integrators.
They need a way to filter the noise?
Right. They needed a rigorous way to rank and certify partners so that enterprises, like yours, know exactly what they are buying.
It's not just the Wild West anymore.
Exactly. This is no longer just about handing out API keys to developers in a basement. It is about guaranteeing reliable delivery at a massive enterprise scale.
So let's break down the mechanics of this vetting system. How exactly are they managing quality control across potentially 300,000 consultants?
Yeah, it's a huge logistical challenge.
Like, how are they categorizing these partners?
So they've instituted a strict 3-tier system. First, you have the select tier.
Okay, the baseline.
Right. This is essentially the entry point. It's designed for firms that are just beginning to formalize their AI practice, building base technical proficiency, and establishing a preliminary co-selling relationship with OpenAI.
Makes sense. And the next one?
Then you move up to the advanced tier. This requires demonstrated technical depth and a genuinely scaled consulting practice.
So they have to show real results.
Exactly. Advanced partners must show measurable commercial traction and a solid track record of actual live deployments.
Got it. And the top tier?
Finally, there is the elite tier, which is heavily restricted. It's reserved for firms executing highly complex, massive-scale enterprise deployment.
The really big players.
Right. And progression through these tiers isn't just a marketing exercise, It is strictly gated by sales performance, technical capability, and most importantly, proven deployment experience.
Okay, here's where I have to push back a little bit on the psychology of the buyer, though.
Sure, go for it.
If I am an enterprise leader, right, and my job is on the line to make a digital transformation successful, I'm looking at this tiered system and thinking, isn't it tempting to just demand an elite tier partner and completely ignore the rest?
Oh, yeah, that's a very common reaction.
Like, why wouldn't I just buy the highest tier available and cover my bases? Nobody gets fired for buying the elite package, right?
It is a common reaction, but falling for that is a massive trap.
Really? How so?
Well, tier status is meant to be a starting filter, not your final answer. Think about it practically for a second.
Okay.
If you are an enterprise buyer in, say, healthcare or finance, an advanced partner with 5 actual production-grade deployments in your specific highly regulated industry might be vastly superior to an elite partner who has 0 sector-specific experience.
Oh, I see. Because the domain knowledge is what actually matters in the trenches.
Exactly. If a partner doesn't understand the specific compliance constraints, the legacy data structures, or the regulatory nuances of your exact industry, their generic elite status isn't going to save your deployment when the auditors come knocking.
That makes a lot of sense. It really is about context, not just raw technical capability.
100%.
And speaking of context, the network also includes specific specializations that go beyond the broad tiers, right?
Yes. The specializations are designed to signal deep functional domain expertise.
What kind of specializations are we talking about?
The 3 primary specializations currently are Codex, which focuses entirely on AI-native software development and coding environments.
Okay, for the developers.
Right. Then there's Cybersecurity, which deals with building AI-powered threat detection and security operations. And finally, agents.
Agents, like autonomous agents.
Exactly. It's all about deploying autonomous AI workflows rather than just, conversational chatbots.
Ah, so it actually does things for you.
Right. And earning these specializations gives enterprise buyers a much clearer functional filter when they are evaluating partners for a very specific operational use case.
That's super useful. And there's one more piece to this network infrastructure that I find absolutely fascinating, the FDE pilot program.
Oh, yes. The forward deployed experts.
Right. The FDE pilot is arguably the most distinctive and perhaps the most valuable feature of the entire network.
I would agree with that.
It's designed specifically for elite partner practitioners who are working on highly complex deployments. These individuals are physically and digitally embedded alongside OpenAI's own internal forward-deployed engineers.
Which is incredible access, if you think about it.
It really is.
Hmm.
So it's essentially a high-stakes apprenticeship model. They're learning the secret sauce.
Exactly.
They get direct access to OpenAI's proprietary deployment playbooks, transformation patterns, and operational methods for dealing with edge cases.
Yeah.
And then they bring that highly guarded knowledge back to the enterprise client.
That is a massive value add for the client.
Massive.
Yeah.
But understanding these tiers and programs is really only helpful if we know what these partners actually do on the ground.
True.
Like, how do they functionally solve the implementation bottlenecks we were talking about earlier?
Well, when you look at the reality of deploying enterprise AI, an effective partner engagement revolves around 5 core activities.
Okay, let's hear them.
First is use case identification. Second is workflow redesign. Third is systems integration.
Got it.
Fourth is production deployment, and this is where things like operational governance, rate limits, and audit trails become absolutely critical.
Right.
And the fifth is change management, which ensures the human operational teams actually adopt the new system.
Let's pause on a couple of those terms for a second to make sure we're completely clear.
Sure thing.
When you say rate limits and audit trails
Yeah.
in the context of production deployment, what are we actually building there? Like, practically speaking.
Great question. A rate limit is essentially a safety valve.
Yeah.
It caps how many queries a system is allowed to process per second.
Okay, so it stops the system from overwhelming itself.
Exactly. Without rate limits, a runaway automated process could spam the AI model with thousands of requests a minute, which would not only crash your infrastructure, but it could rack up massive API compute bills overnight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, nobody wants a surprise $1 million cloud bill.
Exactly. Now, an audit trail, on the other hand, is a secure, unchangeable log.
Like a flight recorder.
Yes, perfectly put. It records exactly what data the AI accessed, when it accessed it, and what decision it made based on that data.
So it's about accountability.
Very much so. If your AI denies a customer a refund, for example, you need an audit trail to prove exactly why that decision was made for compliance purposes.
That context is incredibly helpful because it highlights just how complex the deployment phase really is.
It is not simple, that's for sure.
Which brings up a really crucial question about the very first step you mentioned, use case qualification.
Ah, yes, the step everyone skips.
Right. Why do so many organizations blindly skip that very first step and rush straight into technical implementation without actually scoring the opportunities for data readiness or return on investment?
It's baffling, but it happens all the time.
It seems like everyone just wants to start writing code immediately.
It is the classic shiny object syndrome, honestly.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
An organization runs an innovation workshop. They identify, say, 40 potential AI opportunities, and then they immediately invest in the 5 ideas that generate the most excitement in the room.
Based purely on vibes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They completely bypass any rigorous qualification framework. They don't score those ideas against actual data readiness, technical feasibility, or business impact.
They just assume the data is ready.
Right. They
Yeah.
completely skip the ROI calculation.
Sure.
And when you rush into building without qualifying the use case, you almost always hit a brick wall at the data layer.
And this is exactly why we at Kanerika operate the way we do.
Oh, absolutely. We have seen this exact failure pattern so many times across the industry. It's why our approach fundamentally always starts at the data layer, not the model layer.
It has to. It's non-negotiable for us.
Right. If you do not have clean, unified, and securely accessible data, it really doesn't matter how sophisticated or expensive your AI model is. Bad data simply kills AI in production.
Absolutely. The model cannot reason over data it cannot access, and it cannot generate accurate insights from data it doesn't understand.
It's garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. We at Kanerika recognize that the absolute most complex, time-consuming part of moving an AI pilot to production is the underlying data migration and integration.
It's the unglamorous work, but it's the most important.
Yeah, you are constantly dealing with legacy systems that simply don't want to talk to modern cloud architectures.
And to solve that exact pain point, we at Kanerika built our proprietary migration accelerator, Flip.
Oh, Flip is a game changer.
It really is. Flip completely changes the mathematical reality of data readiness.
It really does. For those dealing with massive data overhauls, the traditional method involves an army of engineers manually mapping old database schemas to new ones, like line by line.
Which takes forever and costs a fortune.
Right. What Flip does is automate how those legacy schemas map to modern data architectures.
And the stats on that are crazy.
Yeah, by automating 70 to 80% of that migration work, Flip cuts labor costs by 60 to 70%.
That's massive.
It is. It compresses what used to be a multi-year, highly complex code-based migration into roughly a 90-day timeline.
It essentially clears the path so that the AI actually has a solid, reliable foundation to stand on.
Exactly.
And having that foundation is critical because the reality of the enterprise market right now is that you are rarely just dealing with one single model or one single vendor.
No, the market is way too diverse for that now.
Right. Since we at Kanerika deploy across multiple platforms to ensure these complex workflows actually function at scale, we have to acknowledge that OpenAI is not operating in a vacuum.
Exactly. The enterprise ecosystem is far too complex for a one-size-fits-all approach.
If we think about building an enterprise AI architecture, it's very similar to building an investment portfolio.
Oh, I like that comparison.
Just as you would never put your entire retirement savings into a single volatile stock, you absolutely should not lock your entire enterprise infrastructure into a single model provider.
It's just bad risk management.
Exactly. A multi-model approach is safer because it mitigates vendor risk, it's more adaptable to new breakthroughs, and ultimately it is far more effective for specialized tasks.
And the broader market is already reflecting this multi-model reality.
For sure.
For example, Anthropic launched their Claude Partner Network earlier in March 2026.
Right, they are making a huge push.
They are. That program was backed by a $100 million investment and rapidly certified over 10,000 consultants.
Wow.
Yeah. So evaluating a true implementation partner today means you have to look for multi-model capability.
You need options.
You want a partner who can route different tasks to different models based on cost, speed, and reasoning requirements, rather than awkwardly forcing every single problem through a single vendor's system.
That multi-model philosophy is deeply embedded in how we at Kanerika build solutions.
It is core to our DNA.
We don't just provide access to models.
No.
We've developed a suite of specialized production-ready AI agents designed for entirely different enterprise environments.
Right.
For instance, we have Carl, which is our data insights agent that lives natively within your data architecture to deliver instant analytics.
Carl's fantastic for that.
Then we have DocGPT. That's our document intelligence agent that retrieves and synthesizes critical information from vast unstructured enterprise repositories.
It cuts through the noise so fast.
And then we have Susan, which I think is incredibly vital for modern compliance. Susan is an AI PII redactor.
And just to clarify for everyone, PII stands for Personally Identifiable Information.
Right, the sensitive stuff.
Exactly. What Susan does is automatically identify and mask sensitive information, like social security numbers, credit card details, or home addresses, before that data ever hits the main language model.
Which is a huge security relief.
It keeps data handling secure, compliant, and dramatically reduces the risk of an internal breach.
Having these specialized agents is one thing, but proving their impact in a live business scenario is where the real evaluation happens.
Always. The proof is in the production.
Let's look at a specific case study to see how this multi-model integration-first approach actually performs when it hits the real world.
Let's do it.
We at Kanerika recently partnered with a global knowledge network to completely overhaul their member support operations.
This was a fascinating scenario, by the way.
Oh, it really was.
Their support team was just drowning in thousands of inbound queries every single month across every channel you can imagine: email, chat, phone.
Just a wall of tickets.
Yeah. The queries were highly predictable, usually regarding membership tiers, event access, or basic account issues.
The routine stuff.
Right. But they still required a human executive to manually read the query, search the internal knowledge base, and craft a bespoke response.
Which takes so much time.
It was slow, it was incredibly expensive, and it was deeply frustrating for the members who had to wait days for a simple answer.
To solve this, we at Kanerika didn't just, hand them an API key and wish them luck.
No, that wouldn't work.
We deployed an AI member support agent and deeply integrated it directly into their existing Zendesk instance.
That integration was key.
Now, for context, Zendesk is basically the central nervous system for their customer ticketing. That's where all the support requests live.
Right.
The agent used advanced natural language processing to understand the nuanced intent of the queries, and it resolved them instantly by pulling the correct policies from the knowledge base.
But the crucial design choice here, and this goes back to the workflow redesign we talked about earlier, was how the agent handled uncertainty.
Oh, this is the best part.
We built in strict confidence thresholds. If the agent wasn't highly confident it had the exact right answer, it didn't just guess.
No hallucinating allowed.
Exactly. It was programmed to route any low confidence cases immediately to a live human executive, complete with an auto-generated summary of the issue so the human didn't have to read the whole thread from scratch.
And the performance results from that deployment were just phenomenal.
They really were.
Because the agent was integrated properly into their data and their existing Zendesk workflow, 65% of all member queries were resolved entirely via self-service.
Over half, instantly.
That led to an immediate 42% drop in total ticket volume hitting the human team.
Which directly translated to the bottom line. They saw a 31% decrease in the overall cost per ticket.
That's real ROI.
And because the low-confidence, highly complex cases were seamlessly handed off to humans who now actually had the time and mental bandwidth to focus on complex emotional issues, overall member satisfaction increased by 25%.
It's a win for everyone.
That is exactly what enterprise AI looks like when it is deployed correctly. It is not just a novelty chatbot on a website. It is a measurable, structural improvement to the core business operations.
So bringing all these strategic insights back to your immediate operational reality as a listener.
Yeah, let's ground this for them.
If you are preparing to evaluate a partner to help you navigate this massive digital shift, what is the ultimate checklist you need to keep in mind?
Well, you need to demand evidence that goes far beyond their tier status or their flashy marketing materials.
Okay, what's first on the list?
First, demand to see industry-specific production deployments. Do they actually understand your specific regulatory environment?
Crucial.
Second, look for operational governance frameworks. Do not accept generic policy templates.
Right, you want the real deal.
You need to see how they practically manage data privacy, access controls, and model output review in a live breathing system.
Okay, and third?
Third, ask about their model transition plans. How will they manage your infrastructure when OpenAI or Anthropic releases an entirely new model version next year?
Because that is definitely going to happen.
It's guaranteed. And finally, meticulously scrutinize their existing stack integration experience. Can they actually connect the AI to your specific ERP or your specific data warehouse?
Exactly. And that comprehensive end-to-end approach is exactly why we at Kanerika cover this. We don't just build models, we build foundations.
Yeah.
From that crucial first step of rigorous use case qualification through the complex data mapping and migrations using Flip, all the way to deploying autonomous AI agents across modern platforms like Microsoft Fabric, Databricks, Snowflake, and Azure OpenAI.
It's the full journey.
We are positioned to help organizations map out a highly realistic, high ROI AI roadmap that actually works in production.
Because ultimately, as the entire industry is realizing, getting value from AI is no longer a model capability problem.
No, it's not.
It is entirely a delivery problem.
Which leaves us with one final challenging thought to consider as you look at your own organization's AI initiatives tomorrow morning.
Oh, this is a good one.
If the ultimate bottleneck for enterprise AI is no longer the intelligence of the model itself, but rather an organization's ability to adapt its workflows and systems to that model, is the biggest obstacle to your digital transformation actually human psychology?
It's a heavy thought.
Are your teams genuinely ready to work alongside the intelligence you are trying to deploy?
It's a profound question, and one that every single enterprise leader needs to ask themselves before writing another check for an AI pilot.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the friction, keep examining your workflows, and we will see you next time.